Now that we've seen the 6 parts of the experimental stage of the scientific method, let's follow Kira as she conducts an experiment.
Let's suppose I walk around this kitchen and see what I can discover by just touching different objects. Some objects feel warmer than others, and then there are ones that actually feel cold to the touch. It seems the warmer ones are cloth or plastic, and the colder ones are metal. Stone and glass seem neither warm nor cold. These observations could then lead to the question, why do some objects feel warmer than others? I could then make the hypothesis predicting that if I were to place an ice cube on the surface of each material, the items that felt the warmest would melt the ice the fastest.
In order to test this hypothesis, Kira needs to get an object that is made of each of the following materials: aluminum, wood, and styrofoam.
Warmest, middle, and coldest.
All of the objects tested should have a flat surface and the same amount of mass. She also needs ice cubes of the same size. In the experiment, place an ice cube on each surface and then observe which one melts the fastest. Remember the prediction? Since the styrofoam feels the warmest, the ice cube sitting on it should melt the fastest. But to Kira's surprise, the result of the experiment is just the opposite of what was expected. The ice cube on the aluminum melted the fastest, and the ice that lasted the longest was on styrofoam, which had felt the warmest. So let us analyze the results of this experiment. Maybe when a material feels cold to our hand, it is actually losing heat to it. When the experiment was started, she did not consider that the materials tested were the same temperatures as the room, and the temperature of her hand was much warmer than the materials or the room. The styrofoam felt warmer than the other materials because there's very little matter in it, mostly very small air pockets, and when she touched it, her hand did not lose any heat to it. But when her hand touched the more compact and solid aluminum, heat left her hand and went into the metal. Her hand actually was cooled because of this. Because the materials tested had the same temperature of the room, what she experienced were different amounts of energy loss.
Was I wrong?
The scientific method is important because it provides a procedure to test anyone's experimental results. People no longer have to rely on someone's authority, since they can perform the same experiment and observe if they get the same results and draw the same conclusion. We have also seen that the scientific method forces the experimenter to explain and ask why he or she obtained their results. In this way, science continually advances by the asking of new questions. Scientific Method Video Quiz. True or false? The 5 steps in the scientific method are: ask a question, form a hypothesis, design and conduct an experiment, analyze the results of the experiment, and draw a conclusion. True or false? Observing and recording data are part of the experimental stage. True or false? Many experiments will require taking measurements. True or false? Scientists' answers to the world come in part from what they observe. True or false? If more than one variable changes in an experiment, the outcome will remain the same.